আমাদের কাজই হচ্ছে পোরাস জায়গাগুলোকে ক্লিক করা, ট্রেস করা, এঙ্গেজ করা। কোনো পার্টিকুলার সলিউশন আমরা দিতে পারবো না, কিন্তু কোয়েশ্চেনটা তো রেজ করতে পারবো, থিঙ্কিংটাকে তো আমরা জেনারেট করতে পারবো যে এভাবেও ভাবা যায়। সেটা যদি করে উঠতে পারি তাহলে সেটাই আমাদের মানে কিছু করা হবে, কিছু কন্ট্রিবিউশন হবে। সো নাও I now hand over it to Richa. So please continue.
I may say good evening to all. Thank you, Simadi, for nicely summing up the whole thing together. I would say the core value system of PSAGS, you have nicely put it together, or we can say you have summed up who we are, what we think, or rather the suo motto of PSAGS. So it is a kind of discussion together in a collective way. So what I will do, we will just try to brief a little bit about the first round table that we had yesterday, and almost we have all the logistics and technicalities and what we need to think and how could we improve and develop our kind of togetherness and connecting with other institutes, research projects, doing different kinds of things, right? So whatever we have talked of, right? So how we have come up with the idea of PSAGS, starting off this thinking collective, and a little bit of the historical journey we have already talked of, and how we can accommodate more interdisciplinarity. Rather, Subhendra sir is critical about dropping the idea of interdisciplinarity though. So by dropping it, how we can engage with various disciplines, we would say. How we can think of arranging our conferences, as Hati madam was referring and recommending us to think of going beyond the center, like arranging our conferences beyond the center, like for example in different districts where we are living. Then linking or connecting PSAGs with different research collectives. We can find out different research collectives, different research institutes, school, colleges, whatever capacities we are in right now. Or not within India, we can think of beyond India also. Academic institutes across global south, we can say. So the other margins we can think. So far, and also we grapple up with the sponsorship things and fundraising and all of that we have talked about. So we are not going into those things again. So therefore, what we are left with, I think that has to be discussed today, and that is the core idea of PSAGS. What we can do, like, of course, keeping those things in mind, let us focus on the central or core idea of concern of PSAGS, and that is reading, discourse and debate. How we can engage critically with various fields of study, generating ideas from different angles and perspectives, and that is what we are actually trying to do over the last 6 years of its formation, PSAGS. So if we can take the prime locus of PSAGS, that is the global south, we know that the idea of the term itself, global south is not a homogeneous category, and when we use the term global south, we need to think it for a second time, that how we can engage with various disciplines, cultures, because it entails different kinds of, what we can say, that cultures, linguistics, different context and everything. So Global South is not a homogeneous category, it is a heterogeneous category. So when we say it or pronounce it, we can think of not only within, we can say that we can think from the Global South, as Anudhar has already mentioned it. So what we can do now, we can raise some of the triggering points or cues for our discussion, what we can do, and then we can have the opinions from your end, that from those points what we can develop further. So already in our previous years of PSAGS, we have already read and addressed various critical perspectives on various issues of Global South, which Global South is grappling with. So the first point we would like to offer, or we can engage with, that is regional literatures and its divergent philosophies. So we know that literature is a vast field, right? So when we talk about regional literature, it can have the potential to address the lived experience of people living in different corners of the world. So we can think of literatures across language, disciplines, cultures, caste, class, binary. So we need a divergent way of looking in and through life by reading these regional literatures and their kind of divergent philosophies. So this can be one of the emerging field, or we can think about it. Then second, we can think about language and translation. So how we can address the language hierarchy? When we were talking about Simona, that how language plays in the classroom, how language hierarchy plays in the classroom, because as a teacher, when I teach in the classroom, they preferred their mother tongue to speak up. Though it's a class meant to be conducted through English, the language, medium of language is English, but they are not comfortable in speaking up because of this language barrier. So how we can think of going beyond this language barrier and think critically to include all language disciplines rather, and how can we think of have a kind of heterogeneous or multiplicity of languages at the same time, so that we can engage all from different language backgrounds. And again, when we are talking of language, I think translation comes with it. If I am a Bengali, then my mother tongue is Bengali, of course. Then if I face the same situation with a student or a different person from another language background, maybe Gujarati or Malayalam or Marathi, then I need to understand his or her literature or her cultural context through translation. So that is the way. So how we can engage language barrier, language hierarchy, and of course the means of translation. Third, that we have already started with music and its philosophies. So in our conference already we have taken the issues of music, like songs, the philosophies of baul song, fakir, folk song traditions. So music has its own philosophy and has a long background of its rich culture. So I think music and songs and its philosophy can be one of the potential way of looking into the kind of field we are thinking of. So music can offer us different ways of dealing beyond the kind of theoretic binary we are talking about. And we already know when we talk about Frankfurt School, so one of the founding member, Adorno, he experimented with songs, music, and he researched a lot about that. So apart from that, we can also think of addressing climate crisis, Anthropocene, ecology, that we already are doing with it. But again, we need to address its pros and cons again. The other ones are AI and critical theory. How can we deal with that? Because we are living in the digital era, so where everything can be generated by AI tool, artificial intelligence. So where is the space of original thinking? So how critical theory can engage with that? So can be one of the area. And today, as it has been already discussed in the panels, that pedagogies of teaching and learning. How critically we can look into the pedagogies of teaching and learning, because when we take into consideration global south, again it is very diverse. So what are the problems we are facing with, be it a syllabus thing, be it a classroom situation. Okay, so this can be one of the entry point, or rather the point that we can think of. So keeping the spirit of discourse and debate alive, the floor is now open to. Okay.
আরেকটা যেটা সেটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে জেন্ডার মানে we are that's why
I forgot to mention the one of the important or significant point, of course, the gender. And again, when we talk about gender, it is not a homogeneous category. Yesterday, Onika was talking about breasty theory in response to the kind of abstract or canonical world critical theory, which we can think of even aborinalizing, which so it is problem in pronunciation. So Anupdhar was already saying about it. So we can think of aborinalizing the gender, maybe. Okay, so aboriginalizing. Okay, so the gender question maybe. So I mean, how we can going beyond the gender binaries, constructive gender binaries. So we can talk about these and beyond that. So
we can have one conference on this thing also. This is one topic probably PSAGS
সঞ্জয়িতা প্লিজ শেয়ার ইওর থটস তোকে দিয়ে স্টার্ট করছি কারণ পয়েন্টটা শেষ হচ্ছে এটা দিয়ে
Thank you, Shima and Richa, for